Hello and welcome to Managerial Problem Solving. This is the course introduction slide, and in this section we're going to talk about assessment strategy, what this course is about, and what you can expect. Before we start, we have to talk about a few things. The first thing we have to talk about is, what is a flipped classroom? A traditional classroom involves me sitting at a desk talking to you at length about managerial problem solving. Now, I'm not going to do that in this course because the best way to learn about problems is to solve them. So what you can expect is an environment where I will set you weekly tasks to do outside of class, or if you're in the intensive version of the course, I'll ask you to do things on a daily basis as part of your learning. Now, before you show up to the first class, you should have already listened to this slide. Why? Well, all of the learning takes place outside of the classroom. All we do is touch base to make sure that you're on track. I see my role as a facilitator, someone to help you learn what you need to learn about managerial problem solving. It's my expectations that before you come to class, if you're face-to-face, or if you're online, that you read the material in the order that I've put it up there, you watch the videos, and you get ready to comment on them. You are an active participant in this class. It is my belief that for too long in higher education, we've told people what to learn. If you want the most out of this course, it's better for you to do the readings, listen to the lectures, and do all of that stuff before you turn up to discuss. Because to get what you need out of this course, which is essential problem solving skills and management, you really need to have done that in beforehand. What are my expectations? Well, I hope that you will do that, and I hope that you'll be an active participant in the class. And every single thing we've set up, whether it be the online wiki system, whether it'll be the in-class exercises, or if you're online, the online exercises, I'm expecting you to do them and to participate. That's my expectation. Now, from your side, you can expect me to be here, to answer your questions, and to be involved. Why am I forcing you to do it this way? Well, I want you to be organized. I want you to have a real-world taste of problem solving. I could sit here and tell you all the theory, but it makes no difference. To be a good problem solver, to be a good manager, you need to be proactive, you need to be organized, and you need to have a plan. So that's what I'm trying to teach with the basic skills there. And by putting the onus on you, you get organized, you do the readings, you come to class, you push me, I'll push back, and we'll have a good relationship together. Now, this doesn't mean that everything's online, and it doesn't mean that that's all there is, but this course is actually designed so that you do the work outside or online. I mean, we have three types of students in this course. We have the face-to-face intensive, we have the people doing it on a weekly basis, and we have the people that are on the online intensive course. Now, if that's you, you can do it any way you like, but I expect you to do it, and I will not. I don't think anyone's here. They're paying so much money. I don't think anyone's here to muck around. If you're a face-to-face student, I've got a little note here for you. I expect you to watch the online lecture videos before you come into class. I expect you to do the exercises before you come to class, and then when you come to class, I will review what I've expected you to learn. Now, if you're an online student, we do that through Yammer, and I keep track of you through conversations. So we have Yammer. We don't have a discussion board. I just don't believe in that technology. It's too central. It's too archaic, and it's a little bit old. So we use Yammer, and we have a wiki. And the wiki is a co-creative knowledge space, which I will talk about shortly. So, what am I expecting in summary? Watch the lectures before you come. Do the exercises before you come, and have read the readings, and be ready for questions during our touch base sessions if you're face-to-face. If you're online, ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to facilitate your learning. I'm not here to tell you what to learn. My job is to guide you through the processes of learning about problem solving. I see it as my role to push you and to get the best out of you while you're studying this course. So the onus is on you. So you have to take the initiative. It's up to you how much you want out of this course. I'm willing to give as much as you're willing to take. And it's important to note that if you don't want to participate, or you want to participate in a shallow way, the course is designed that you can do that and just get a pass. But why would you want that? These are skills that are essential in management. These are skills that are good for people who want to go ahead. Learning how to solve problems is the single biggest deficit, I think, in current education systems. We don't even have appropriate rubrics for them yet, or curriculum developed. But it's what you need. Creativity, critical thinking, all of that is built into this course. So I've designed it with the onus on you, so that if you want more, you can get more. So why study problem solving at all? Well, if you look at this diagram here, as you go further up the corporate chain, research suggests that you need highly developed conceptual skills. You might even see that on the odd job application where it says, you need highly developed conceptual skills. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, what it means is that when you go for a job or you're a chief executive officer, you're not expected to think about operational problems as much anymore. You're expected to think about direction and where to set goals, how to write plans, how to ensure the success of plans. So you will delegate out responsibility for the operations of those plans, and you will be setting the strategic direction for a corporation. So what do? Well, you look at problems, you model alternative solutions to those problems, you assess the pathway for those problems and plan for change, and you map out problem areas so you can solve them. A CEO's job is very much like an entrepreneur's job. They are to see the opportunities and threats coming into the corporation and to solve them, to lead systems of innovation, not just to keep the organization going, but to keep it growing. And that's the problem. How do you get to that? Well, years of practicing problem solving, having a creative ability, but as you'll see in this course, you can develop those conceptual skills. You can conceptualize the answer to a problem simply by learning to work with others, for example. And in this course, I'm teaching you this because I believe everybody has the capacity to solve problems. What I think is our current education system, including the one at Griffith University, is wired up so that you get information. Now, information is good, but unless I know how to use that information and put it to work and learn from it, it's of no use to me in my work environment. I happen to be a manager at the moment. I manage our department's teaching and learning. In that role, I'm responsible for about 31 academics, allocating their workloads, bringing in teaching innovations, applying for teaching grants, and doing the rest of it. When I sit back in my chair and wonder what I'm doing, it comes down to that middle part there. I think I look at problems a lot of the time, and I try and find clever ways to solve them. I look at different alternatives. I plan out new pathways or innovation streams and think I need to add value somewhere. How do I do that? And these are the constant struggles we have, and they're interrelated, interconnected. And by the time you leave this course, I'm hoping that at the very least, you should be able to know how to map a problem terrain, how to model different pathways for understanding that problem, know how to create innovative streams to dissolve it and get rid of it so it doesn't happen again, and then back to the start again. And you have this continuous learning experience as a manager. Now, the idea there, I guess, is that there's different levels of management, but the higher you go up, the bigger the tension, the bigger the conflict, the more high stakes the negotiations are. So what does that mean? Well, it means that out of this course, you should at least get some fundamental skills that you can use moving forward to your workplace. And that's my aim. Now, to do that, of course, means we have to think about the way we run the course. My model for this course is action learning. So what happens with problem solving is, because problems are rooted in reality or in the everyday affairs of life, the only way to learn about them is to try and solve them. So I could fill your head full of problem solving theory, like bounded rationality, the idea that we only have limited information, that the four-step approach to problem solving, whatever it may be. I could fill your head full of that. But the aim of this course is to give you a process for thinking about problems. The model for this course is based loosely on something I call the engagement process, where we engage problems through multiple divergent opinions, and then we try and rationalize solutions. Now, I'll get to that much later in this seminar series, but in the first part, let's look at this diagram. Action. Everything starts with action. Academics love theory, and theory is good because theory helps to explain and predict the world. But when problem solving comes along, it's very difficult because a problem is something that needs action. Now, we might say, well, that's all well and good, but like Chris Agris said, there's nothing that happens without a theory. There's nothing that happens without some kind of underlying concept, or even if it's an ad hoc one, going on in the background. A lot of people are adverse to theory. They think theory is stupid and it's a waste of time. But when you learn about things in action, you're not just learning about what you're doing, but you're learning about the processes you go about with problem solving. So you begin to take action, you do things, and then you reflect. You think, did that work? Did that not work? Then you capture that as learning, and it goes into your planning again. So this course is designed, first of all, to give you some basis for your action. So a plan, if you like, or a concept underpinning your actions. Then I get you to take some action through simulated learning experiences, and then I get you to report back to me about what that was like. You basically get 30% of your grade just for doing these exercises and doing them properly. Then as you learn, you reflect, and as you capture those lessons, I can evaluate how much you've learned about problem solving in this short time together. So in summary, this course is built on you taking action, you stepping out and learning more about problem solving. So for that reason, we don't have a lot of readings, we don't have an exam. We don't have things that you would typically associate with a university course because you have to take the action, you have to do the learning. My job is just to guide you in the direction. You have to take those steps and do it yourself. So while half this class is dedicated to theory, the other half is dedicated to action, which makes it a very unique course and one that it will prove to be difficult for some of you. So why action learning? Well, how do you actually learn about problems? How do you come to grips with them? Well, let's take the first example on my slide here, driving a car for the first time. When you learn to drive a car, you read about the theory and the rules, don't you? And you have to pass that test first, at least in Australia, in order to pick up a driving license. Now, back in the day, so my parents tell me, when you went to get a driver's license, you just pitched up at the station and you drove around the block. But here's my question to you. How did you learn to drive? You drove. You learned how to change gears. You learned how to reverse park by doing it. Well, problem solving is the same. You must learn through action. You can't learn by reading about problems. You can go, well, that was interesting how they solved that. I'll keep that in my kit bag. No, problems are all unique. Every day you're faced with a different problem. And that's why time management really doesn't work. Because you have to learn about it. If you've ever fallen in love, what did you do? You just went through it. Everybody tells you about it. You've read about it in movies. But until you experience it, you don't know what it's all about. So what am I saying? Well, there's no such thing, really, as just a theory. Everything has a practical equivalent. It's pragmatism. Everything has a practical equivalent. Getting into a fight, maybe with your wife, your partner, you got into a fight and you're trying to work out the boundaries of the relationship. You believed you were right, but up until that point, you had certain conceptions or ideas. Now, when the fight actually happens, all that gets rearranged. So in life, where it's at is in action. It's not in the world of theory. Theory predicts, action happens. So we are somewhere in between those two. Buying a house, you thought you had everything sewn up, right? In my experience, I forgot about a few key things and learned what I need to do better for next time. Getting married, it's simple, it's easy, right? You turn up, you pitch up, you sign a pitch. Not for some of us. Some of us it's an ordeal. Thousands of dollars spent, organising restaurants, flowers and the rest of it. You didn't know what was required until you went through it. And that's what problem solving is all about. You must learn problem solving by solving problems. And in this environment, it's a safe environment, you can learn about problem solving. You can do it. And you can learn how to think about problems in a way that will allow you to be more successful in solving them in the future. So the motto for this course is, if you want to do it, you must go through it. I, of course, taken that from Robin Hood Men in Tights. But the idea is that's what problems are. Problems happen in action spaces. They don't happen in theoretical spaces. Theoretical problems are solved by other theoretical means. Practical problems, management problems, are solved by managers, you and me. And as we solve them, as we learn to synthesize those tension points and to find new solutions, we get better at management, we get better at problem solving. As if it was that easy. What are the key skills in problem solving? First of all, the most obvious one, you've got to be organized. If everything else is set up and aligned, at least you know you can solve the problems that come your way. If you have a plan, you can be organized. Organized means having access to resources, knowing where your resources are, knowing political strengths and weaknesses, being prepared. The other skill is evaluating information. You need to know what information is there and how it works. Selecting choices. Being proactive, not waiting for someone to tell you what to do, but looking ahead and finding solutions from other people or perhaps yourself. Finding those answers and being creative. These are the key skills that are listed as in any research publication on problem solving. One I've added is managing wickedness. To be very good as a manager, you need to understand and recognize wicked problems. And we have a session in this course where we just dedicate about half an hour of our time to what wicked problems are and how they work. Wicked problems have no shape or structure, but they are the most evil of problems. And I have an interview that will explain that to you in the second last session. These are the key skills, and these are the skills that you'll get out of this course, really. Helping you to be organized, coming up with a structure for a problem, evaluating it, looking at alternatives, being creative, and managing wickedness. How do I learn these skills? Well, you have to do it. Remember, if you want to do it, you must go through it. It's better caught than taught. In other words, I can show you what it looks like, but you must find your own way. I can't tell you what the answer is. You have to tell me what the answer is. These are not like puzzles where there is one answer. Most management problems have multiple possible answers, and the skill is not in picking the best solution, but picking the right solution. So I'll say that again and again and again throughout the course. It's about doing the right things righter, which is perfect English. So as we do the right things righter, we get better at problem solving. Easier said than done, as you'll see. There's a lot of traps and hidden dangers with problem solving. The most important one is learning, of course, and we'll discuss that later in the course. So again, just to reiterate what is expected, watch the online lectures, actively engage in these videos through the exercises that I put on there, tackle the exercises for each week, do the readings, and ask me a question every single step of the way. We have Yammer for the online people. I don't respond to emails if it's a general question. Please use Yammer. I'll put up that link if it's not there already by the time that this presentation is posted. You need to use that. The reason you need to use it is because it allows you to ask a question and everybody sees the answer. It's the first lesson in problem solving. If we all have the same information, we are not operating under as much uncertainty. We all need to see it. Post it to Yammer and everybody will see. For the face-to-face students, come to the touch-based sessions if you think they're useful. I'll be in the class for 90 minutes per lesson just to answer and reiterate what's on the online sessions. These sessions will be also recorded, but if you're online, they're of no value to you, and I would rather that you went through and did the exercises and yammered me instead. If yammered is the right word. How is the course organised? Well, as I've said earlier, there's online students, there's face-to-face students. You can be either. It makes no difference to me, but I'll be there in the background, lurking. So in a traditional course, a lecturer will come in and talk to you. You have a 2-hour lecture. You'll do some tutorial exercises. In this course, I've set up a learning plan for you. If you follow that learning plan, you'll pick up some key skills in problem solving along the way. In the next session, I'm going to talk to you about the assessment structure and how you're going to learn the key skills in this course. If you're an assessment-focused student, you might find this to be useful, and I'll explain in detail how it's all going to work.